entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Floyd Marshall Jr. That's me.
Welcome. Good to see you. So good to see you.
Good
I'm
to
so
be
glad I
seen.
could
Good to see
talk
you as
to
well.
you.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having me on your show. Sorry, it's just kind of, been, but I'm glad we're finally doing it and sitting down and talking to you. Because I think you're just brilliant. What you do is just absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a great way to start the day. I will take that. And it was so much, excuse me, it was so much fun having you on the podcast. And like I told you when you were on the podcast, you're now family, so there's no getting away from us.
Oh,
You definitely have to come back.
thank
It
you.
was just you and me the first time. So when you come back, because my co-host Okima Timor, who's an absolutely phenomenal filmmaker and director in her own right, and an actress, she was I think she was filming, so she couldn't be there. But the next time it'll be all three of us sitting down to chop it up.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Can't wait. So, I love going back to the beginning. I always say at the beginning, charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we, pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like growing up? And how did you find your way into doing the amazing things that you're doing now?
Oh gosh. Well, grew up in a house with let me see, two brothers and two sisters, so it was a lot of us. Two parent household, phenomenal mom and dad, rest in peace. And it was a pretty normal childhood. Grew up in North Philly, row homes, still very close with all of my childhood friends. The days were basically spent playing basketball all day, um, just doing normal kid stuff. But it was a pretty good childhood when I look back on it. Of course, you have your ups and downs as with anything, but it was a really great childhood. And interestingly enough, um, I met my wife. She lived in the next block
Oh,
down from
wow.
me. So we met at and started dating at the age of 15 and
Wow.
got married at 22, and we're celebrating 38 years coming in up in October. So we've been together for 45 years. So it was a
Oh,
great
wow.
childhood. It was a great childhood.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's the secret to a marriage that long?
Oh gosh. You know what, Meosha? Communication is one cornerstone. Friendship is
Mm,
is is major. Be friends.
yeah.
And one thing that I tell anyone that's in a relationship or looking to get into a relationship,
Hmm.
keep your business your business. Don't let anybody in your
Yes.
business. I don't care who it is, family, whatever. If things aren't going well and someone asks you, oh, everything's okay, keep people out of your business. And that has definitely helped us. But yeah, communicate,
Wow.
um, date, never stop dating,
Yeah.
and just have fun with each other and be friends. I mean, that is so important, being friends,
Yes. Yes.
because we're still you can't stay with someone for 45 years and not be friends. You just can't, because you have your own personality, your own syncrety, whatever. It's early in the morning, so that word, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
um but you really have to be friends, because sometimes you're going to be tested, and the friendship and the love that you have for each other is the thing that's going to pull you through. So yeah, those would be my
Absolutely.
tips.
I
Keep
love
people
that.
out your business.
That part, right? Oh my gosh. Yes. Um, you started as a fitness model before moving into acting. Looking back, right, at your career and things that shaped your approach in filmmaking today, what was that like? How did you get into that? I read that I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, let me slight correction. I I wanted to start as a fitness model. This is what happened. And this
Ah,
is funny
okay.
how this thing works. When I was, let me see, in my mid 30s, I was heavily into fitness. I still am because I believe, and especially if you're in this business, I
Yeah,
believe that your body is an instrument, and in order for it to work at at its peak or optimal performance, you have to keep it tuned.
right.
So any form of exercise is great. And because I always say you pay now or you pay later. So I would rather pay now as opposed to paying later.
Right.
And so when I was younger, I a neighbor of mine saw me and she said, "You know what? You would be a good model," because I had the locks and everything. I was cute, and she said, "You know, you should try out for that." And honestly, it had never entered into my mind before that
Hmm.
day. And I said, "You know what? Why not?" So I went to this place called One Top Model or something like that. It was so long ago. And One Model Place. And they had everybody in a room and they picked certain people. They gave you a number and they said, "Okay, well, thank you for coming in." So I go home and they call me and they say, "Oh, you've been selected." So I'm like, "Oh,
Hmm.
great." So they said, "Okay, well, we're going to do your headshot. We're going to do your comp card." And when I look back on it, I said, "Okay, see, y'all took advantage of me because here's why. That headshot and comp card cost me $1,000.
Ooh.
Yes. And this was, let me see, a long time ago. Very expensive.
Yeah.
But I was so excited because I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to be a model." So took the headshots and all of that. And started going around to different agencies in Philadelphia. Went to Reinhardt Agency, a couple of other agencies in Philadelphia. Handed out my comp card. They were all like, "Oh, yeah, great. We'll contact you." And then I went to John Robert Powers and Mindy Sills. I went in, dropped off my comp card, and the girl at the front desk said, "Thank you." About an hour later, I got a phone call, and it was the director of John Robert Powers. And she says, "I want you to come back and come and go to my school,
Hmm.
modeling school." I was like, "Oh, okay." So ended up going back to John Robert Powers, paying, but that was one of the best experiences of my life. So when I look at how it started, and I say I was taking advantage of, I kind of don't mind. Because
Hmm.
in all honesty, if I had not gone and taken those pictures, then I would
Hmm.
not be where I am right now. So I
Mm-hmm.
just look at it and say that was just, you know, how I got into business. Now, I would highly recommend anyone coming into this business, if that is the route that you're going to go, talk to
Yeah.
someone first,
Hmm.
because there are people out there that will take advantage of people that don't know, because I had no clue about this business. So paying $1,000 for comp cards and headshots is a little, it's steep.
Yeah.
So, you definitely need to talk to somebody, adult, especially if you're if you're a young person, and as an adult too, get some prices, but talk to someone. But to make a long story short, went to John Robert Powers, ended up competing in New York, won some prizes, and started out as a extra actor. Now, here's the
Mm.
thing: when you go to the competition with John Robert Powers is a big competition they have in New York. I'm not sure if they're still having it. At at the end of it, one of the things that they do is they do a model walk. So
Hmm.
they have all of these agents in a room, and you have your headshot, you have your comp card, and you go to each table trying to get picked up by an agent.
Ah.
Now, my thing was I want to be a fitness model because I had the six pack, I had everything. Every single Meosha, every single table that I went to, everybody kept saying, "So you're an actor?"
Hmm.
And I kept saying,
Interesting.
"No, no, I'm a fitness model." And
Right.
oh, well, thank you. I go to the next table. Oh, yeah, he would be, yeah, he looks good. He'd be great in that. You're an actor. And I'm like, yo, what is up with these people? I'm a fitness model. And then I said, you know what? The universe is trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to look into this acting thing. And that's how it
Mm-hmm.
started.
Wow.
That's how it started.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's awesome. I kind of did little modeling that like that too. And I just feel
Mhm.
like I commend models, you know, it's a job for sure
Yeah,
to keep that whole thing going. You know.
it is.
But yeah. Was there a specific like moment while acting that made you realize, I'd rather create that like opportunities or films versus doing the acting thing? Was there a moment where you were like, okay, it's filmmaking is where it's at? Because I had those moments too for myself.
Yeah, it's interesting because I never really sit still. So I got with an amazing manager, Kathy Parker, and I did that for a while. And in the midst of that, I started writing,
Hmm.
you know, because I'm an avid reader. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I was always told that if you want to be in something, then make it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So because in this business, if you sit around waiting for the phone to ring, if you're waiting for someone else to put you on, you're gonna be waiting forever. And you know this
Mm-hmm.
because you're phenomenal. You create a lot of your own,
Thank you.
your own things. So I started writing, and when I started writing, I said I really love this because I'm an avid reader. I'm an
Yeah.
avid reader. I love reading books and I love creating worlds. And I remember when I was in high school, I was in regular English and I wrote this essay, and the teacher pulled me to the side and she said, "You don't belong in this class."
Mm.
And she ended up sending me to, was it, to, what was it? Advanced English.
Ah,
She said,
yeah.
"Because you don't belong in this class." So when I would in advanced English, we would write and we would do so many things. So fast forward to I started writing my own scripts, and then I made a short film, and acting was amazing. But when I saw other people bringing what I had written to life, it was like it was like crack. When they say you
Yeah.
hit it the first, I said, "Oh my!" And what was even better was when you saw people react
Mm-hmm.
to what you had
Mm-hmm.
written.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, this is sauce. This is what I want to do." So I started writing and then made a few films. Now let me say this: ignorance is bliss
Oh yeah.
because they don't they don't tell you how hard this shit is. Excuse my French. When you decide, okay, I want to be a filmmaker, they don't tell you how hard this is. And I think that's a good thing because if people told you, there would be no films being made because people are like, I'm not doing that because
Yeah.
it's a love-hate relationship. And yeah, that's how that happened. I just started writing and then, made some short films, and I just loved when sitting and watching people react to my stuff. It was like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, I wrote that and then this is what
Yeah.
I'm getting. So yeah.
I love that. No, and you're right. It is one of those things like ignorance is bliss because yeah, it's like if we actually knew and really saw that this is the most this is one of the hardest business like to get into. I
Yeah.
believe because you always have to have like ideas and be innovative and something fresh and new and just stay. I commend people that can stick around for like 20 plus years and still make money doing it. It's like
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. God bless them.
Right, right. And I love that you said, you wanted to create and it feels like crack, like you found your purpose and all of that.
Hmm.
That was the like the aha moment of like, okay, no, this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Then you founded, your film production, your which I'm curious about because I think a lot of people that's what usually happens, right? We get our own stuff and then we start creating.
Hmm.
Instead of, waiting for someone to, like you said, give you that chance, what did entrepreneurship teach you, I guess from like film schools or acting that acting never did? Because it's a whole nother thing.
Well, let me say this because, as I told you, I'm retired.
Yeah.
So, I kept my job because it took me so long to get it. And my wife was not going to be like, no, we're not doing that. But here's the thing. Let me say this to everyone that's listening and or will be listening.
Yeah.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing this business. And you'll see a lot of things out in social media saying, if you don't quit your job and pursue this 100%, then you're not really all in.
Mm.
Let me just say, and I'm gonna curse here real quick. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Don't let anybody tell you that. If you have a good job that is flexible and
Hmm.
allows you to do the thing that you love, and you keep some health care, and especially now with how the industry is just
Oh.
contracting and things are just and people are having a hard time figuring out, well, how am I going to pay my rent and how am I going to, buy groceries? If you have a job that allows you to be flexible, because the type of job that I had, I worked for public transportation for 32 years. And the higher you get, the more seniority you get. So my
Mhm.
job was very flexible because what I ended up doing was I ended up working from midnight to 8 in the morning. And then during the
Mhm.
day, I would do everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing that entrepreneurship, and yes, you are still an entrepreneur if you have a job because you're putting your own money into a thing. But the
Hmm.
one thing that it taught me was if you are not willing to sacrifice, it ain't going to work. Because a lot of the things that I did, that money came out of my pocket.
Hmm.
My pocket. Well, let me rephrase that. It came out of our pocket because I'm a husband. So you definitely have to have a partner that is in this with you. You definitely have to have someone that is understanding of that. But the thing about entrepreneurship that I learned, there are no guarantees. It is an absolutely roller coaster ride. You don't know, you really don't know from one moment to the next. But when that thing happens, it's very rewarding. But let me tell you, if again you are not willing to sacrifice, and it's just not money you're sacrificing, it's time.
Hmm.
It's time with family when you have to, be on a job or doing a thing for that thing that you love. That takes a lot of sacrifice. So if you are not willing to do the work, then find something that's not as demanding.
Hmm.
So that's what I would say. It taught me that you definitely have to sacrifice in this.
Yeah, this business. It's so true. It's so interesting that was a big one I heard a lot too, was like, oh, you gotta just, and some people can do it, But it's
Hmm.
like, are you sure you can do it that way? Because when you don't have any money coming in,
Hmm.
can you still get up and go and make that audition? Can you still get up and be on set? I mean, and a lot of people do it, but a lot of people, don't understand. Like, you're eating ramen noodles. You're on a
Hmm.
budget. You're not. You can't you can't go and like splurge or anything like that. But that's the route some people take.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's for everyone. I think it takes a certain kind of person to do that. But I don't know. I think it's one of those things, like you said, if you love what you do and you really truly love it, like you'll stick it out even with a job. I mean, there's so
Hmm.
many actors and filmmakers that are famous that have done that, right? That have like they're doing they're waitressing and then they're also going to, and it's like it's okay to have, it's not a bad thing, But I think we live in a time where people just look down on people who have a job. It's like, what's
Hmm.
wrong with that? It's not a bad thing.
Listen, I ain't gonna tell y'all how much money I brought home every week. I wasn't giving that up. And the thing
Right.
was, I didn't have to.
Right.
That job has helped me put two phenomenal girls through college,
Yeah.
and it afforded me where I live,
Yeah.
my cars, my new car, and I'm gonna go there. My new car sitting in the driveway, my money in the bank,
Right.
and that peace of mind. So there's nothing wrong with it. So and
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny because I'm big on personal development, and
Yeah.
I would listen to these gurus say, yo, burn the ships, do this, do that. Yo, you sitting on stacks of money and you telling people living hand to mouth to quit their job.
Right.
You've made it, player. So it's easy for you to say that. But what about the person? Because I had, our we're empty nesters now, but I had a family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So why would I leave my job and then leave all of that on my wife? I'm a grown ass man. I'm not doing
Right.
that. My
Right.
job is to provide.
Right.
So, this was the I hate to say side hustle, but that's the only thing that comes to mind right now. But this was the
Yeah.
side hustle. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and that was my first priority. So if this had to go to the wayside, then so be it. So people that are sitting there struggling with hearing people say, "Well, you should quit your job." Tell you what, homie, I'll quit.
Mm.
But when you make that check out at the end of the week, you need to write me a check
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
rent, for my groceries, for my kids' tuition. So since I should
Mm-hmm.
quit my job, make that check out to Floyd Marshall Jr. and make sure you include the junior because I don't want them confusing that with my dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
I
agree with
mean,
that. Yeah.
if you can do, but now with some things, because with me, what happened was the reason that I ended up going to the graveyard shift was my manager would get auditions for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be at work, and she would hit me up like, yo, you got an audition in New York tomorrow. And I'm like, ooh, I got a word. And she
Right.
said, and I tell this story all the time, I never forget it. She said, listen, do you know how hard it is to get you these auditions? Because she was getting me auditions like
Mm-hmm.
Law and Order,
Yeah.
and things like that. So, not that low tier stuff. She was getting me major auditions. And I'm like, oh, I can't make it. And Kathy Parker, God rest her soul. And she said, listen, one or two things is gonna happen. She said, you're gonna figure it out, or we can part ways right now.
Mm.
And that's part of the business. That's part of the sacrifice.
That's it.
So I told her I'll be there tomorrow. And after that, that's when I went to the midnight shift from midnight to 8 in the morning. I would put all my stuff in the car. When I would get off work, I'd be going to the train station up 95, changing in the car to go to New York to
Wow.
audition.
Love
So
that.
you
Love
can
that.
you can do these things, but then again, how bad do you want to do it? That's the
That
question.
part.
Yeah.
That's real. But I love that. I love that. I love that the creating the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards
Mhm.
gave other filmmakers a platform. What inspired you to build like an ecosystem instead of focusing on only your own career?
Oh, I love that show. That show was the bomb. Um, again, always moving. And one day at work, see that, ladies and gentlemen, at work, I was on the bus and I talked to myself a lot. So sometimes people would be like, "Sir, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going through ideas." You know, I would keep a notebook in the windshield, and when I would get to the light, I would just write everything down. Write everything down, ladies and gentlemen. Write everything down. And one day I was driving and I said, "Why isn't there an award show for independent filmmakers?" And then the voice that talks back to me said, "Well, why don't you create one?" And I
There you
said,
go.
"That's exactly what I'm going to do." And I created that because, again, you know this, just preaching to the choir, this is a hard business. This is a brutally hard business. And I wanted to celebrate independent filmmakers putting everything on the line to bring an idea to reality.
Hmm.
And I wanted it to look and feel so fabulous that they will walk away feeling appreciated.
Yeah.
So I created the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards, and I modeled it after the Oscars
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
I said I want filmmakers to feel like this is their night. So we, you know, we had it to where, you had to wear a tux or a gown or a suit. Uh, you had to get dressed up because, again,
Yeah.
I wanted them to feel special.
Yeah.
We had the red carpet, we had red carpet interviews. Basically everything that you saw at the Oscars, that was our show.
I love
You
it.
know, it was absolutely amazing. And the first the first year I did it, um, people were shocked. People were shocked because and it's an unfortunate thing that they were shocked because here you have, and I'm gonna go there.
Oh, please. I already know where you go.
You had this black man putting on this show,
Right.
and the level of professionalism and quality that we brought, a lot of people were just amazed that something on an independent film level could look like this. And every time somebody came to me surprised, "Yo, I never, oh my god," they're still talking about it. I just never knew it could look like this. And I would look at them and I would say, "Why not?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
why are you always expecting something to look ratchet? Why? Why? How- if you go somewhere, a hotel, wherever, dinner, you want the best,
Right.
right? So why would you not put forth the best?"
Hmm.
And a couple people would make suggestions, and I would be like, "No, we're not doing that," because, again, I wanted the bar to be so high
Yeah.
that Les Brown says the one thing that you want people to do when they leave is to talk about it over and over and over, because that's the best advertisement. So he said, what you need to do is you need to give people an experience.
Hmm.
He said, if you give them an experience, they will talk about it forever. And Meosha, we haven't done that show in 5 years because of the pandemic. And people are
Wow.
still walking up to me saying, when is it coming back?
That's incredible.
Because we ain't play around. We had open bar, we had hors d'oeuvres, we had um jazz. It was amazing. It was amazing. So long story short, I wanted independent filmmakers to feel amazing. And that's what happened. Yeah.
Doing things with excellence, and
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about.
See, because what you're
Yeah.
not gonna do is you're not gonna leave and be talking about me.
Right.
Like, I don't believe Floyd did, and he good. That's what he did. See, no, wasn't none of that. Wasn't none. They be like, no, they was walking to me. Yo, how can I be? Like, how can I be
Yeah.
down? Um,
Yeah.
and the amazing thing, and I don't know if you saw the post. Uh, Three of the people that was on my team, um, they're coming back next year
Nice.
with the Philadelphia Cinematic Awards. So
Nice.
so I basically kind of passed the baton
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's a heavy ass lift. And I said I didn't
Yeah.
want to do it anymore because I had initially said I was going to bring it back. But then when I sat down and thought about it and talked to my wife, I said, I can't do this again.
Yeah.
I
It's a
can't do
lot.
that. So I said, no, I'm not doing it. So they decided to start their own. Angelique Marshall, Keon Smith, and Kia Dixon, amazing part of my team. I wouldn't have been able to do the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards without them. So they're coming back next year, June 26, 2027. So if you
Nice.
got a phenomenal independent film, make sure you submit it. Shameless
Yes,
plug.
everybody.
But
Submit.
yeah, it's there will be no drop off in quality because Angelique was the one. I came up with the concept. I wrote the checks, but Angelique was the one that put the entire thing together.
Mhm.
So she's now the founder of this one of the Philadelphia Cinematic
Nice.
Awards. So it's gonna be popping.
I
So I'm
love
just gonna
that.
go there and look cute.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Nope.
So I love that you said passing the baton. I think a lot of times I don't know if it's just our culture, or just in general.
Mhm,
I think people want to keep things close to the chest a lot of times and not give that information to someone that is trying to do the same thing, or,
mhm,
you know, I guess that's a form of mentorship too, like, all right, now you go and
mhm.
you keep it going. And I think I mean, other, you look at other franchises, or, like the Oscars per se, right? It just keeps going, right? No one's like, oh, no, I'm not, this is too much. Like, this is all me, like a Tyler Perry or whatever. But knowing that, okay, look, I did what I did, I put that out there, and I know they're going to continue on to find, you know, the, make it better, or with the whatever that is.
Right.
Why is it that it is so hard for people to, and not just in film, but just in general, keep things so close to chest and not pass it on? Where does that come from?
And in my opinion, now this is just my opinion. I think that a lot of times people like to keep it close to the chest, close to the vest, is because for some oddly strange reason, and again, this is just my opinion, they're thinking that if I pass this on or if I tell them what I did, that that's going to dim my shine,
Mm,
which is crazy because if you did that thing, whatever anyone else does is not something that would take away from what you did. And in my opinion, it's the exact opposite
hmm.
because again, there will be no drop off in what people see next year.
Right,
So when they see it and they look at me, they'll be like, "Oh, they came out of Floyd's can."
right.
So you passing it on and giving people the knowledge that you have, and then watching them shine and flourish and do an amazing, phenomenal job, that
Hmm.
is a reflection on you because that lets people know that Meosha did her damn thing. And
Hmm.
they are a product of that. And you can see what she did that produced that.
Hmm.
So now
Hmm.
And that's just my opinion. But so many people are so scared, and sometimes rightfully so,
Hmm.
that if I let them know the sauce, that they're gonna ruin the recipe. But that ain't no
Mm.
reflection on me, because if they mess that up, that's on them, because
Yeah.
that's your thing. But so many people are just so frightened of telling others what they know,
Mm.
thinking that that's going to lessen them, or that they might not end up having another opportunity, which is crazy, because again, if I'm on point with whatever I do, what you're doing is never going to take away from what I can do,
Right.
because you know
Right.
what I can do, because you've seen it. Now,
Yeah.
if you decide to go in another direction, that's okay, because that's
Hmm.
how this business works. But
Hmm.
I'm never afraid to tell people, what I've done, what I know, because you know what the great separator is? Are you willing to put in the work?
Hmm.
And oftentimes, because I've had people at the show come up and say, "Yo, I want to do this." I'm like, "All
Yeah.
right." It takes a year of planning.
Right.
You got to do this. You got to do that. You ready to pull out a credit card? You ready to pull out some money? You ready to, 14, 18 hour day? Are you willing to do all of that?
Hmm.
And then when the people find out the massive amount of work that goes into anything, filmmaking, anything,
Yeah.
then, oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I'll just show up. Okay, that's cool too, because I want you there, because I want you to buy a ticket. But
Right.
yeah, for me, a lot of times people are just afraid that you gonna steal my shine. If I tell you something, you ain't gonna never steal my motherfucking shine. You just not,
Right.
because I'm because my shit is, I'm on point. It is what it is, because I put in the work.
Right.
So, you know, just now I will say this: it gets to a point where a lot of times people are asking you things about your 10,000 hour endeavor, and they want it for free. Now, let me
Mm.
be real clear with
Mm.
this. Let me be real clear with this. If you put in serious work over the years, and you have the let me pick your brain crowd. I don't do the pick your brain crowd.
Right.
And I'm a mentor with, if you're familiar with Cheryl L. Bedford, JTC list, and
Uh-huh.
Start with Eight. She's amazing. And I've been a mentor with her organization for the past 3 years.
Nice.
Amazing organization. I will mentor people. And I'm also on a board of this organization in Philadelphia called the Philadelphia Philm Factory, where we teach, young people the business from A to Z.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to sit down and tell you everything and keep telling you everything, and an invoice ain't involved in that, because
I feel that.
you've put in the work. Now, I will tell you some things, but if you thinking you getting everything, you ain't getting that. I got a book, you can go buy that. Or if you want to hire me as a consultant, you could do that.
Hmm.
And people need to understand that. I mean, you've been doing this for a very long time. And it's a little disrespectful for people to always come to you and, like, Meosha, tell me how you did this, tell me how you did that.
Right.
Now, I can tell you how for free, but if I got to show you how, that's going to cost you some money.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. And normally when I hit people, and I had quick story a couple
Yeah.
years ago, this brother, because I used to be on Clubhouse pretty heavy when Clubhouse was
Nice.
Clubhouse. So this guy inboxes me on IG, and he says, "Hey Floyd, you were recommended to me by somebody on Clubhouse that heard you in a room, because we used to do rooms.
Hmm.
And I want to ask you about films, and I want to ask you about this, blah, 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 blah." So we're talking. So he was like, "All right, great. So, let's set something up and we can get on a call, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Cool. I charge $75 an hour. And I was lowering my joint, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
said, all right, I charge $75 an hour. And his entire demeanor changed.
Of course.
Well, wait a minute. Can you send me this, and this? I said, hold up, homie. I said, 5 minutes ago, you wouldn't ask me for all that when you thought it was free. But now that I'm charging you, now you want references and you want all this. I can give them to you, but I don't want to. And I told him, I said, I don't want to talk to you because you had no problem wanting to tap this resource for nothing, but I'm not worth you spending money to find out what I know.
Mm.
That's your mic. Your mic is so cute. It's changing colors. That is
Oh,
so
yes.
cool. Yeah, see,
Thank you.
I got pulled in, but yeah, you know, so don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do that. If someone has put in the time and the work to learn
Yeah.
what they've learned, respect that. So to make a long story short, yeah, a lot of times people just they don't want to tell you for that reason, but some don't want to tell you because they think it will take away from them, which is nothing could be further from the truth.
Right. Right. I mean, I think, and I think that's a big one. I think that's so interesting. And I mean, you touched on so many things right there about just like, even like, I've had people ask me that. How do you know when something is not for free anymore? Because,
Hmm.
I remember talking to some film students and I was like, yeah, you got to work your way up there. Um, but they're like, well, how do I know when I get to a place where I can start charging? And I was like, well, um, that's a really good question. And I think a lot of people, and I mean, I've had that too, and I think too, we don't really, and I don't know if it's, I don't want to say that, but I think sometimes we look at our things
Hmm.
and there's no value to it in our subconscious of like,
Hmm.
oh, well, it should be for free. What do you mean you charge? What do you mean? And they hit you with the, come on, sis, come on. You're like, it's like, no, this is my job.
Hmm.
This is this is my livelihood. Um, but it does wing out those people that are not serious,
Hmm.
and then the ones that are serious, there's no problem. So I rather, I think for me, I definitely stop with the I mean, I rarely open up, like, I mean, if I go halftime on IG especially, or just a direct message, half of it is just
Hmm.
it's bull crap anyway, unfortunately. But that's just kind of how the social media world is. But I don't blame you. I don't blame
Yeah.
you. So, and instead of I love what you did. Instead of stopping, when the film festival stopped,
Hmm.
you launched your podcast.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, I love, first of all, I love your podcast. I think I love the conversations that you're having and the people you're talking to. What was I guess, the goal in podcasting for you when you started it?
Well, when I start, and thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for that.
love
And
it.
I love
Yeah,
yours too.
thank you.
And you know how I found yours, going home from work,
Really?
because my car was my office. So I would always um, try to find phenomenal podcasts, and especially from Black folk,
Got it.
right? So I'm scrolling and I saw your picture, and I said, "Oh, she cute." I said, "Let me
Thank
click on
you.
this." Ain't nothing wrong with being cute, folks, because it get people interested. That's why they say great book covers and things like that to draw you in, because that's a phenomenal cover that you have on your podcast. I said, "Oh, she cute. What's she talking about in this film?" Bam, and I'm listening, and you have such a calming voice. So
Thank
when I
you.
was listening, I was like, "Oh, she dope as shit." And I was like, "Okay, okay." I got to get her on the show. Took a while because Meosha busy. Um, but when you hit me back, I was like, "Oh, this is like 2 years later."
Oy vey.
I'm
That's
serious.
so
It's like
embarrassing.
2 years.
That's so
I was in
embarrassing.
my wife. I said,
Oh
I hit this.
no.
I said, I hit her up 2 years ago, and she just now responded. I was like, I don't know about it,
Oh
but it's
man.
okay. It's okay because I follow certain people, so I know you was out there doing your thing. So I am so not
Oh,
mad
thank
at you.
you.
Um,
Appreciate
but I started my podcast during the pandemic.
you. Uh-huh.
And what happened was, again, always moving, I wanted to start doing in-person live interviews because I love those for filmmakers in Philadelphia. So I had set everything up, had my guests, then they shut everything down.
Mhm.
And I said, ooh, so now what? And I said, well, you got a computer, you need a mic. So I ordered that off of Amazon and I started interviewing people um on with the podcast, and I called it a conversation with. Now let me say something about that. If you are going to create a podcast,
Mhm.
be very careful of your title, because if I had to do it, but see, this is what happens when you don't know. If I had to do it again, I think I would choose a different title, because when we're talking about SEO, search engine optimization, you
Mhm.
want something that people can find easy, because
Yeah.
a conversation with is very broad and very general,
Mhm.
you know. So I would, if I had to do it again, I would choose something slightly different with film in it, because then it kind of narrows it down. So that's just a tip for anybody thinking about starting a podcast. Your title is so important. And again, it goes back to search engine optimization, because you're a business, so you
Mhm.
want to treat every aspect of your business, like it's extremely important, because that title is the thing that's going to have people coming to your podcast or whatever it is
Mhm.
that you do. So back to the podcast. So I started the podcast, and I just started out having people on that I knew. And as I grew in it, um, and especially when I started doing Clubhouse, I started interviewing the people that I knew from Clubhouse,
Yeah.
and then it just grew from there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great, great. I mean, great show. I'm like I catch the clips on Insta. I'm like, oh look. I mean, and you're like pump. Listen, I thought I was fast with interviews.
Mhm.
Your turnaround is spectacular. It's one for the books. I'm like, wow,
Thank you.
you're just pumping them out. I'm like,
Yeah, and I've
whoa.
slowed down. I've slowed
Holy
down because I
crap.
used to do four. I would do a podcast every week.
Wow.
Yeah, but StreamYard is real. Plug the StreamYard, but it's so simple because when I do it through StreamYard, they basically do everything. So all I have to do is really, I ain't got to do nothing, because it automatically goes to YouTube. It automatically goes there, so I don't have to do anything. And then I use I'm not gonna up them people. I use another thing where it clips it up, because I'm not giving y'all free advertisement. It clips it up. And so it's real quick and it's real simple, because again, I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah,
So I just need something where, I just push and go. But
that's right.
yeah, so I started doing that, and I'm always amazed at my guests. First of all, because they actually coming on the show.
Right, right.
When I get somebody, I'm like, damn. But that goes back to, they know it's a safe space.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is why what you put out is so important,
Hmm.
because people are not going to engage with you if they don't feel like they're going to be taken care of.
Right,
And one of the
right.
things that we always get at the end of our podcast, when we stop recording and we go back into the room and it's just us and the guests talking,
Hmm.
they always say, I felt safe.
Love that.
And that is huge. I don't ambush people. There are no gotcha questions. We don't do that. Um, because we want the people to come back, but we
Hmm.
also want them to know that when you come into this space, it's a safe space, and we gonna take care of you. Because again, we treat everyone like you. Because once again, your family
Hmm.
when you come on our show. And adding Okima, my gosh, that my podcast was nice, but when I added her, that just took that thing to
I
she
love
dope.
that. Yeah, no, she's
She's
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
She really is. She really is. I have a fun question for you,
sure.
and there is no wrong answer. I
Okay.
promise. I ask every guest this. Um, the three levels of influence: money, power, and respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Money, power, respect.
Hmm.
For me, it would be respect.
Hmm.
Um, because I see a lot of people with money that people absolutely hate. I see a lot of people with power that people absolutely hate. But respect is it for me, because in all honesty, in my opinion, if people respect you,
Hmm.
the money and the power will follow. And this is why I think like this. If I respect you, especially in this business, then you're someone that I want to work with.
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
respect you, you will be someone that I want to be around. And for me, having friends and having people look at you in a certain light in this business is a form of power.
Yeah,
Because I have people asking me all the time, how did you get that person on your show?
I bet.
How did you get that person on your show? I said, well, I've built relationships, which is an
Hmm.
amazing form of power. Um, money, money's nice, but I like money, but money is not the end all be all, because you have a lot of people again with a lot of money that are miserable. So for me, it's the respect, because I have to get up and look at me every day. I do. And if I'm not a person of integrity, that people would respect, that's a problem for me. So money is
Yeah.
good, power, what am I gonna do with it? And all I mean, what the fuck I'm gonna do with power? I, Power for what? You know?
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
Now anybody that pick power, I ain't mad at you. That's your thing. But for me, power, you know what power is for me? Power for me is helping other people.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what power is for me. So if the power to help others, and the power to make others better, and the power to make their lives better, that's some serious power right there. So if I would
Yeah.
have power, that would be the type of power, and I do have that power, um to help other people and to make other people's lives better. So yeah, but money, I got enough. You know what, when I was about to retire, and I know we getting close, but when I was about to retire, that was one of the scariest things, because I made very good money.
Hmm.
And I was scared, because was saying, man, is my lifestyle going to drop off? Because we like to travel. I like nice clothes. I like things.
Hmm.
But interestingly enough, when I retired, I make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't worry about money.
It's good.
I don't worry about money. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, respect.
I love that. Great, great
Yeah,
answer. Great
yeah.
answer. Um, you, your book, yeah, your book,
Mhm.
Business, focuses on the business side of filmmaking. Why do you think so many talented filmmakers underestimate, I guess, that importance of the business knowledge of film?
Oh gosh.
I know that's a big one. It's a big one.
I wish I knew. Um, I had a mentor, Tanya Kersey, rest in peace. I love that woman. And she said, It's called show business, it's called show business, and there's a reason that the word business is bigger than the word show. She
Hmm.
said, because without the business, you have no show. So that always stuck with me. And she always approached everything from a business standpoint first, because she had a true understanding of the fact that this does not move without money. I don't care what level you're at. This ain't moving without money. So even if you're on the lowest independent film level, you still need money. You may not be paying people, but you sure as hell got to feed them. Okay.
Yeah.
You may have to pay for a location. You got to put gas in your car to get to that place. So you have to learn how to do business. You have to learn how to make that $2,000 that you're going to use to shoot your film. If that's all you have, you have to learn how to make that stretch. You have to learn where to put that money to make it work the best for you, for your project. So I have always, and it was a blessing having mentors like her that really instilled that in me, because that gave me a different mindset from a lot of filmmakers who's like, yo, I just want to create. I want to create. Yeah, I would just want to make my film. And then this is the question that I always ask them. That is great. But let me ask you this. Where's it going to go when you create it? Where's it going to live?
Yeah.
What platforms? What's the demographic? Who are you making this for? Okay. Now, if you're just making it for friends and family, cool. That's a hobby. But if your goal is to make money from this film, you have to package it, you have to advertise it, you have to market it, you have to do business. And I'll just add, listen, when you sit in a movie theater, it's me and my wife just went to see The Odyssey, phenomenal movie. So
Yes.
when I bought the tickets, the movie said 10 o'clock, but they said, oh, you can get there around 10:15.
Yeah.
And this is what they had on the thing. It said, because from 10 to 10:30, we're going to be showing trailers. You know what that is, ladies and gentlemen? That's advertising.
Hmm.
That's advertising. So they're advertising the product that they've made for you to purchase in the future. Business. It's a
Business.
great, a great creative endeavor, but that product is something that you as a consumer, that you're visually consuming, are going to purchase later down the line. You're sitting in the
Mm.
theater right in a movie theater, viewing a product that Christopher Nolan made or whoever. So I always stress to filmmakers that it's great being a creative, but if you want to return on anything, then you have to learn how to do the business. And I'll take it
Right.
one step further and then I'm gonna wrap it up. If you're a filmmaker and you have decided that you want other people to invest in your film, you got to have a deck. You got to have a business proposal. You have to have all of this, because now you're saying, hey, Meosha, I would love for you to invest $5,000 in this movie. And I'm like, okay, so how the hell am I going to get my money back?
Right.
So again, it goes back to business. So if you are a filmmaker, if you're an actor, you are a sole proprietorship. You are a business. And if you are not looking at it from that standpoint, I highly recommend that you start doing it. And really quickly, I was listening to a podcast a couple of years ago, and they asked this gentleman, and they said, what is the one thing that you regret not learning coming out of film school? And they all say the same thing. They all say, I wish I had known the business better. I wish I had known the business better. And I can't remember his name, but this dude was hardcore. But he said, I wish that someone had taught me the business of this. So go grab my book. And
Go get it. Go get it. Go
Yeah,
get
but
it.
it's
Absolutely.
called, where is it? Where are they doing that? In my library, Film Bizness.
Nice.
Got some great people on the cover. But yeah, you got to really approach this from a business standpoint. I'm very passionate about that. I could be here for another hour talking about that.
No, seriously, it's a huge one. It's a huge one that, film school does not really get into
Hmm.
like fully of what that life as a filmmaker looks like. Because when I got, personally, I feel like learning getting thrown into it is better than just textbook is great to know and it's very important, but there's something about when you just get thrown into it, you learn, I mean, very quickly. Oh, okay. So I'm not just when I get to set, my first day on set, I'm not, I was a camera operator on a
Mm.
music video set, but also I was also making coffee for the director. So it was like there's nothing that was above me. So it was one of those things like, oh, I had to learn really quickly how this business goes.
Yeah.
Especially being a woman in this business as
Hmm.
well. It's that's a whole nother thing. But I what advice would you give to, the up and coming, the ones that whether they're acting or filmmaking, what would you say, what would you tell them like as far as like entering into this business?
Oh gosh. Read everything you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
Read, you know, follow the business, follow the financials of this business. Oh gosh, read everything that you can get your hands on. Know what is actually going on in this business, because things at the top affect what goes on at the bottom.
Hmm.
If you're thinking that this merger with Paramount and Warner Brothers is not going to affect independent filmmakers, you are sadly mistaken, because it all trickles down. So I would definitely recommend that they just read every single thing that they can. Um, Learn AI. You may not want to use it, but learn it, because that's the direction this business is going, whether you want it to or not. So, just knowing what it is and knowing how to use it could really help you as far as your career is concerned. Do not be an asshole. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Be the type of person that people talk about you in a good way when you're not even in the room. Build meaningful, organic relationships. Please do not be transactional, because people can smell it a mile away. Offer and then ask. Don't ask,
Hmm.
offer and then ask. Be so invaluable that you're valuable. Make it so that people need you
Hmm.
in that room. That you would make the room better. But with everything I just said, the top of that list, besides becoming a good business person, is to definitely build meaningful and organic relationships. People ask me, Floyd, how do you get people on your show? Because I build relationships with people. And matter of fact, one of the amazing women that I just had on my show, Tia Smith, she's a phenomenal executive producer and director, been in this game for a long time and has worked on some amazing, amazing shows. Do you know how I got her on my show? A friend of mine, director Bobby Yan, who is an amazing director that I've had on my show a couple of times. We were just in Sundance kicking it. Out of the blue, sends me a message on Instagram and says, Floyd, you need to have her on your show. See how that works? I didn't seek her out, but he was like, Floyd is a pretty cool person. So I'm gonna hit him up and I'm gonna recommend that he have this amazing woman on the podcast. And she was amazing. She was just at Cannes at the Cannes Film Festival, won something there. So when you build phenomenal organic relationships with people, they will then share you with their amazing friends. They
Very
will,
true. They
because
will.
you're safe and you're reliable, and they know that you can be trusted with the people that they're sending your way. So that would be my advice.
That's awesome. Great advice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, this is not even like the tip of what all the things that you've done,
Mhm.
outside of your mentorship and everything else that you've done for people. Thank you so much for just your knowledge, for sharing your journey with us. I'm just, yeah, please come back on for sure in the future. That'll be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, yo, I done made a creators create. You know what I'm saying? I have arrived.
Thank you so much. And where can people find you on social media to follow everything you have going on?
Floyd Marshall Jr. on all of my socials. Now that is a good business tip right there.
It is.
Floyd, use your name, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to
Mhm.
find me on anything, just type in Floyd Marshall Jr. and all my stuff's gonna pop up. I keep it simple.
That's it. That's it. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
It's a great one. Thank you so much again. It was a pleasure. And
Yes.
thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.